Good morning, friends. Welcome back to this another class on the topic which we were discussing day before yesterday. If you remember, we started with the discussion on the different types of messages. If you remember, we have discussed about the different types of messages. Can I get quickly from you all what are the different messages that we have discussed? So, can I get a review from your side if you can recall what are the different messages that we have discussed on day before yesterday? So I have received certain information from few of you. What about the rest? What about the rest? I'm really looking forward. So Anand Bharti copy pasted the information. Excellent. So please remember, you people are once again copying and pasting it, but I really appreciate if you can understand the importance of these messages and why we should really understand and how do we apply it. So to give you a very quick brief, whenever we are writing any letter, whenever we are sharing any information, even if we are writing a memo notice or if we are talking about report, so the message means the content, that part of the content what we are going to discuss that should be related to one or the other type that was explained to you all, right? So to give you a quick brief of what we have discussed on Wednesday, we were talking about the four different messages, the four types of messages in generally. Whenever we talk about sharing the information or giving the details of the information, what do? We write the information, we share the information with the people, and the message that we deliver could be in these tones. Say, for example, when I talk about positive messages, the tone that is used will be positive. When we talk about the routine messages, these are the common in general messages which are shared every now and then with the concerned authorities or with the concerned people. And then when we talk about the persuasive are those kind of messages where you are influencing, where you are motivating, when you are encouraging others to act, to perform, to bring positive change, then you persuade. And finally, when we talk about the negative messages are those messages which are sharing certain sad or dejected or something which is talking or trying to point out the people's error or mistake, then we write the negative messages. So based on the messages, you should remember, based on the information that we are going to share, based on the instruction that you want to pass on, based on the order that you want to convey to the others, you have to identify the right tone. Say, for example, if you are scolding someone, it doesn't mean that you are going to scold people only always in negative tone. You can also correct, or you can also modify, you can also encourage people to change or to bring positive change with the positive tone. So keep these in your mind whenever we are talking about the messages, the tone that we apply, the messages, or the kind of message that we convey could be positive, could be routine, could be persuasive, or could be negative. Now, when we are connecting the different paragraphs, whenever we share any information, let us understand that when we talk about the common English sentence structure, to initiate, when we club different letters and when they form a sensible word, these words, when we are clubbing them together, they form the sentence. When the sentences are properly or logically placed, say, for example, when you are drafting different sentences, and if you are connecting one sentence with the other sentence in a logical manner, that will lead or that will form the paragraph, or that could be considered as paraphrasing. Now, these paraphrasings will help you in framing or in writing, in drafting composition. So what do we understand by composition? Composition is to compose an article, compose any written material. Generally, a composition will have five or six paragraphs. There are different paragraphs which you can see, which you can identify whenever you are writing the composition. I want everybody to please note or make a note of all these, because whenever we are talking about composition, compositions are broadly categorized into four different types. And we are going to discuss in today's class about all these four different types. But before we are going to enter and before we are going to talk or discuss about the different types of composition, I want you all to keep these things in your mind. We are talking about the compositions that are written, that are drafted, that are framed by the management students. Could be BBA or could be BCA. So when I'm talking about the compositions, when I'm talking about drafting the compositions, when I'm talking about writing the compositions, you should all keep these common things in your mind. Point one, we give a brief introduction. This is segment number one. I want everyone to quickly present the same in the chat box so that I'll understand that yes, you people are writing it down, you people are noting it down. So the first one is brief introduction. The very first thing that we are going to do is we are going to introduce the topic. We are going to introduce the different scenarios or the situations in which we have to write the composition. So the first segment or the first paragraph will always relate to your introduction, the introduction related to the topic, introduction related to the title, introduction related to the matter that we are going to discuss. I want everybody to write in the chat box brief introduction. 1.1 brief introduction. Please remember, whenever anybody is going to ask you to write a composition, initiate by writing the introduction. You have to bring the you have to bring the title, you have to bring the main essence of the composition in the very beginning. So always keep in your mind whenever you are writing any composition, be it any type, which you can see here on the screen that is shared with you all. There can be different types of composition, but the very first thing that you people are going to do is you're going to give a brief introduction, followed by the explanation. Now, in explanation, there can be sometimes a topic related to the things like some people may be talking about advantages, some may be talking about disadvantages, some may be talking related to its benefits, or some may be talking about its demerits. So keep all these things in your mind that whenever we are talking about the composition, after the introduction, we start explanation. And the explanation could be in second, third, and fourth paragraph. All right. So then after introduction, the second paragraph or the third paragraph or the fourth paragraph, what I'm trying to say is the leading paragraphs, or the forthcoming paragraphs, or the paragraphs that we are going to draft after the introduction would be related to the details or the explanations. Say, for example, when you're talking about the features, when you're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages, the features would be in second paragraph, the advantages would be in third, the disadvantages would be in fourth. All right. So please keep this in your mind that whenever we are talking about composition, the first paragraph would be related to introduction. Can I get quickly in the chat box? What about the second, third, and fourth paragraph? Whenever we talk about second, third, and fourth, explanation. All right. So whenever you are explaining, in explanation, what are the common things that you should keep in your mind? Features, advantages, disadvantages. All right. What are its unique features? What is its USP? Generally, people talk about USP these days, isn't it? What is your USP? So therefore, you should always understand that whenever we are talking about, like when we say USP, you should unique selling proportion, or the way you are going to promote, the way you are going to focus, or the way you are going to highlight the product that would be presented whenever you are explaining or when you are detailing about the product or the services. So keep this in your mind that when we are talking about explanation, we may be sharing the features, we may be talking about the advantages, we may be talking about the disadvantages. Sometimes when there are no advantages and disadvantages to talk, you can compare it with the other products. Remember this part. Comparison is also the part which you can explain. So you are going to compare it with the different products, with the products of the same line. Say, for example, if I talk about mobile phone, can I get in the chat box what are the different mobile phones that we use in general, and can we compare a mobile phone with the other? So if I'm talking about your mobile phone, if you want to compare your mobile phone with the other mobile phone, what it would be? Can I get in the chat box your answers, please? So let me see who is going to answer this particular question for the first. So if I am talking about comparing your mobile phone, thank you very much, Sandeep Kumar, for giving me the answer, Android versus iOS. But if I'm very specific, if I'm talking about two different companies, if I'm talking about the product of two different companies, like Abhishek Kumar Rajak, he says that he's going to compare the processor and the camera of his company with that of the others. So similarly, if I'm talking about Prince says he would like to compare Redmi with versus Samsung. So Chandan is going to compare the internal devices, whereas Abhishek Kumar Rajak, again, he wants to compare Redmi with Realme. So Pintu is saying the same company but two different products. So he wants to compare it with Vivo as well as Oppo. All right, the company remains same, but the product varies. So OnePlus versus OnePlus. So you need to identify the different products. So what are you doing when you are comparing? You are comparing and then you are detailing the features. At one point, you're going to talk about the features of Samsung. Then you are going to also talk about the features of Realme or Redmi or Oppo. And then accordingly, you are going to talk what is good and what is bad, isn't it? So this will be in the explanation. And can you guess? Can you guess? Yes, of course. Generally, what do we check? We check the RAM and ROM, isn't it? So we have to be very focused whenever we are writing the compositions, whenever your people are presenting your opinion, your view. You should keep all these things in your mind. The first, always we should start with introduction, followed by the explanation, followed by the details of the product, and finally, when we are going to end it up, how do we end up? You all know this. We always conclude with the help of a conclusion, right? Yes, Pintu, you rightly stated that we are going to wind it off. We are going to finish off our composition with the help of conclusion, isn't it, dear? So keep these things in your mind whenever we are talking about any composition. It will be broadly categorized. It will be broadly divided into different paragraphs. Is that clear? So in general, can I get to know in general, even if we are writing one paragraph, so how many paragraphs will be there in a composition? Can I quickly get to know from you all? So if I'm talking about introduction, if I'm talking about explanation, or if I'm talking about conclusion, yes, minimum there could be 4, 5, or 6 paragraphs, isn't it? So when we are writing any compositions, we have to keep these things in our mind. All right. So moving ahead, let us understand about the different types of composition. So are we all ready to learn about the different types of composition? If you're really keen to know more, quickly in the chat box, so that I'll come to know that yes, these students are listening to me and they all are very keen to know more about the different types of composition. Thank you very much for giving me those wonderful eyes from each one of you. Now let us understand about each type of composition. The first one is expository. Now, when we say expository, what are we doing? The word itself says, if you can really break the root word, you will see the word expose. When do we expose? When do we expose people? When do we expose product? When do we expose things or the services? When we are trying to bring it in front of others, when we are trying to showcase it in front of others, whenever we are trying to present it in front of others, that is called as expose. So everybody need to understand there can be certain topics wherein the topic that you are going to present may not be known to others. I repeat, the topic on which you're going to write the composition may not be known to others. Probably this is a new innovation. This is something related to invention, or this could be related to certain discovery which was made very recently. So therefore, whenever we are talking about expository composition writing, in the expository composition writing, you try to bring out the newness, you try to bring out the innovation, you try to bring out the new idea, the new topic, you are going to bring out the new opinion or the new topic. So say for example, when we talk about AI, if I'm talking about artificial intelligence, do you think artificial intelligence will be used only by BCA students? My question is to BBA students. Do you think, are you going to use AI, or even BBA and BCA all together? Can we use AI? Can we all use AI? Or do you think it is secluded to the purview of BCA? If we all are going to use it, of course, we are going to use it in different ways, isn't it? Yes, Tanya, we all are going to use AI, and particularly when we are talking about the development that are happening in the world of technology, the changes that are coming after COVID-19. You all know AI is slowly and steadily bringing positive change as per the requirement of the people. I don't know how many of you are watching television every day, but you must be seeing the reports related to the pollution, isn't it? The pollution, the kind of impact of the fog and smoke that is happening in the air, and because of which the level of the pollution is going on increasing. And because of this air pollution, people are finding it difficulty in breathing. They are really facing tough time in maintaining good health. So you should all understand that how do we check the pollution rate? What is it? What are sensors? What are IoTs? So if we say that it is only secluded to the use of BCA students or the students who are pursuing engineering, this would be wrong. So everybody has to know about it. And when we are talking about everybody knowing this, what we are doing, the one who doesn't know, the one who don't know about the product, when they explore it, when they identify about it, when they try to find the newness into it, and when they apply the same in their day-to-day life, what are they doing? They are exposing themselves, and the composition that are written based on such new ideas, new innovation, new thought is called as expository. Is this clear with everyone? Now the topics could be related to, do you think technology is going to bring positive change in your life? So, what is the application of AI? What is the application of IoT? What are the uses of data science? Now, you all need to understand that these are now common questions. Maybe before 5 years, if I was asking about, or if I ask anyone about AI, or that is artificial intelligence, they say that that's not our purview, that's not related to management students, that's not related to the students who are pursuing BBA. But these days things are changing, everybody is learning, everybody is keen to know more about these technologies, because after some years we all are going to use AI. How many of you have seen the latest advertisement related to a refrigerator, wherein they are talking about, they are showcasing the small kid who's named as Mowgli? Have you seen this advertisement, wherein he's unhappy to have to eat all those fruits which were kept earlier in the fridge, which was not at all preserving the freshness of the product, but now as the fruits are getting preserved, so he is very happy to eat even the fruits that are refrigerated. So what is it, the technology that is used, or that technology that is getting imbibed or processed or embedded even in the products, and these products are sold by the management students. So you have to keep this in your mind whenever you are writing about any product or any service which was not existing earlier, but when you are trying to present it for the first time, then the article that you are going to write, the composition that you are going to write will be related to exposition. Hence, such kind of compositions are called as expository composition. So, did I explain the expository composition clearly, or you people have any doubts? If you have understood, write U. If you have doubt, write D, so that I can identify, and then I'll try to clear your doubt. So expose means bringing the newness, new idea in front of others, which earlier people, or which the people prior to you were not knowing. So unless and until you're not going to bring it in front of others, they'll not know. So whenever you write such kind of articles or composition, that would be called as exposition. All right. The next is descriptive. How many of you love traveling? If you like traveling, write T in the chat box. If you really enjoy traveling, if you are fond of traveling and you like to travel to different places, to
Excuse
all
me,
different
ma'am.
places. Yes, dear.
Ma'am, please repeat it once again. Such kind of what?
such kind of new ideas, new thoughts. I'll appreciate, dear, if you can really chat instead of unmuting yourself and speaking in between, because that is difficult for me to understand what did I say, because I'm speaking like there is nothing written in front of me, right? So anyways, that's the reason I'll be sharing the video recording of this particular session also with you all. So I'll appreciate if you will not stop me in between and if you allow me to continue my session. All right, Betaji. But anyways, I was talking about the new ideas, new thoughts, new innovations, new research, which are not known to the people. When you are bringing it for the first time in front of others, that is called as expose. So did I clear your doubt related to exposition? Now, when we talk about descriptive, descriptive talks about describing something. How many of you have described people, describing the life of Mahatma Gandhi ji, describing the personality of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel or Lal Bahadur Shastri ji or Maulana Abul Kalam Azad? So there are different, the favorite one, my hero is APJ Abdul Kalam. So whenever if anybody asks me to describe, I really connect him, and then I like explaining about his life, the problems that he had faced, the kind of situation he had to face when he had completed his graduation, and then how did he really struggle, how did he overcome all the struggles of his life, and then today we remember him as one of the best presidents of India, isn't it? The missile man of India, APJ Abdul Kalam. We will always keep him and we cherish him always, isn't it? We cherish all his work, we cherish all his memories. He will always remain in our memory. So we should always keep this in your mind, that whenever we are talking about descriptive composition, we describe the product, we describe the services, we describe about the different places, we describe the different people, we describe about the different situation, event, activities, anything then that you are describing. Say for example, you are describing the rangoli that is drawn by you, or you are describing the picture that you have seen, you are describing the photo that was clicked by you, you are describing the video that was shooted by you. So therefore you should always keep this in your mind, that whenever we are talking about descriptive composition, here the topics are described in detail. Whenever we talk about descriptive composition, we describe about the person, place, event, activity, anything. Given the topic, if it is something wherein you have to describe it, the kind of composition that you are writing is descriptive. Say for example, your travel to Kulu Manali, or your travel to Leh Ladakh, your travel to Dibrugarh, your travel to Shillong. So whenever you are traveling to the different places, when you describe about your experiences, when you describe about your experiments, all the things that you are doing is you are writing a descriptive composition. Do you remember writing your lab manuals? Whenever you were writing your lab manuals, you write your hypothesis, you write even about your observations, then you try to prove it, and then you try to come up to the conclusion. So all these kind of compositions are part of descriptive composition. So did I clear the explanatory part of descriptive? Do you have the clarity now related to the first and second kind of composition that was detailed in this particular class? We talked about expository composition, then we talked about descriptive composition. If you could understand once again quickly in the chat box, ED, if you have understood expository and descriptive type ED. If you could not understand, please let me know through chat box. If you could not understand anything, write the spelling, that is descriptive doubt or expository doubt, so that I can clear it. So I see everybody writing ED. Thank you very much for understanding this, because these are very, very important, students. Whenever you are working in an organization, sometimes you are going to expose your idea. Sometimes you're going to present in front of your management members some new idea. Even when you are pitching your business plan, even when you are thinking to set anything as your startup, and when you are presenting your business plan, what are you going to do? You are going to write expository kind of composition. And then once when your business is functioning after a year or two, when you are going to describe about your success story, when you're going to talk about your achievement story, what are you doing? You are describing. So you write descriptive. Then comes the third one, argumentative. The word itself says argument. What do we understand by the term argument? For and against. There are people who are in favor, and there can be certain people who may disagree with our opinion, who may not be in our favor. So the one who are in favor and against us, such kind of opinion, where people will have two diversified opinions. Some may say yes, some may say no, some may say true, some may say false, some may say right, some may say wrong. So whenever we are having different opinion, whenever we are having different opinion, and we are trying to find out what is that, what are those important components that is differentiating people's opinion. Say for example, if I talk about price, if I am asking about the price of Apple mobile phone, of the latest version of mobile phone of Apple, so how many of you think the prices of Apple mobile phone is costly? Is it high or low? Quickly in the chat box. If it is high, write H, or if it is low, write L. So I can see everybody writing H, right? Because when we look into the price and when we compare our earning, isn't it? If we are comparing our earning with the cost of the phone of the Apple mobile, so what do? We compare, and then we believe that the cost is very high. But do you think the cost of Apple mobile phone will be considered as high by three different people: the Tatas, or the Ambanis, or the Bajaj? What is your opinion? Or Adani? Why no? Why no? Right now you said that the prices are high, but right now you are saying no. Why no? Because they are having the paying capacity, isn't it? For them, it's not a normal price, because they are capable enough of paying it, isn't it, dear? The prices will remain same. But for us, we don't have the paying capacity. For them, they have the paying capacity, right, dear? So whenever we are talking about the different opinion, could you all understand wherein people will have different opinions? Say, for example, if I talk about mobile phones, if I ask your parents, if I ask your parent, do they think mobile phone, or giving a mobile phone latest uh, with highly well featured, with all well equipped mobile phone, giving or handing over a mobile phone to the kids, do you think parents will agree or disagree? Do you think parents will agree to buy the latest version of mobile phone and hand it over to their kids? You all are saying disagree. Why will they disagree? Because they know that mobile phone is used only for talking, video calling, and sending wishes and greeting each other. But what about you? If I talk about you all, if I talk about you all, where you have to attend your classes, if you want to record your classes, you can keep the recording, unless and until you don't have the good amount of space. If you're not having your mobile phone with good space, wherein you can store the video recording, or wherein you can store the audio recording, or wherein you can download important information, and where you can have a record of all these. So do you think you are going to be satisfied with the old version? If I'm asking about old version, I'm talking about 5 years down the line. Say for example, you are having a mobile phone which was bought in the year 2016. Will you be happy with it? You will always look for new thing, isn't it? So you can see there is a different opinion. Your opinion and your parents' opinion, there is a difference between these two. Why? Because they see how much is used, what are its benefits, and they are having their own perspective, they have their own mindset, they have their own thinking. Whereas now among the same family member, say for example, if I'm not saying that everybody's parent will say no, but few of your parents, whenever they see you using your mobile phone regularly for studies, and you're not misusing it, you are really disciplined, and you know how to use your mobile phone in a sensible way. So what your parents are going to do, they know how do you use it. Instead of disagreeing, they agree and they purchase. And that is what everybody's parent they might have done, isn't it? So if you people are having your own Android mobile phone, or if the parents are really giving you the mobile phone, their mobile phone to access and to use it for your classes, don't you think that they understand, and don't you think that they are really cooperative and they are helping you people? Of course they are helping you, and you should be always thankful to them for understanding you and your problem. So there can be different opinion, there can be people who may agree, there can be people who may disagree, there can be people who may talk about advantages, there can be people who may talk about disadvantages. Wherever, whenever we are talking about the different opinion, when it varies from one person to the other person, such kind of compositions are called as argumentative. Also remember, whenever we are having different opinion, we need to give evidences, we have to give some proof. So whenever we write argumentative, please remember, we include certain facts and figures. Whenever we are describing about the product, please remember, people will not just listen to you, they want some proof. So they also want some evidences, they want certain proof. When you are exposing, they will always challenge you, so you have to present certain facts and figures. So don't you forget, you should write it in a simple way, the 3S that we have always discussed: short, simple, straightforward. Short, simple, straightforward. And 2F that we always focus on: fact and figure. So whenever you are writing any composition, whenever you are writing any article, whenever you are writing different paragraphs, always remember 3S and 2F. What are those 3S that we have discussed? Quickly in the chat box. 3S, the full form of 3S. I want to see who is going to be the first. 3S and 2F that we have discussed. Very good, Abhishek Kumar Rajak. Short, simple, and straightforward. And what about the 2F, dear? I want to see. Very good. Excellent, Abhishek Kumar Rajak. Facts and figures. Thank you, Tanya. Short, simple, and straightforward. Yes, Sudhanshu, it is short, simple, and straightforward. Yes, Amit Raj. Ananta rightly stated facts and figures. Yes, Tanya. Right, Pintu. Short, simple, and straightforward along with facts and figures. Very good. Excellent. So always keep this in your mind, that when you want to bring newness and when you really want to present in front of others, that you are a matured guy, and you really want to present your information which can attract the audience, which can always attract the readers. What are the 5 important things that you should always keep in your mind? You should write it in a short way, simple way, straightforward, include facts and figures to make the paragraph, the reader, when they are reading the paragraph, whenever you are writing the paragraph should include all the necessary ingredient along with the information. If you are including facts and figures, it will add more value. Similarly, when you are describing something along with facts and figures, say for example, if you just describe it without even knowing, people will not believe you. So if you are describing anything, if you are arguing anything, and when you include certain facts and figures, automatically people will have more respect for you. Then finally, narrative. Now, narrative is a composition in which you can include facts, you can also include fiction. All right, please remember this. Expository talks about facts, descriptive talks about facts, argumentative talks about fact. But when we talk about narrative, when you are narrating something, when we talk about languages, in language, you must have read different novels, isn't it? When you might have read different novels, some are fact based and some are fictitious. Do you know what are fictitious? Which are completely imaginary. I don't know how many of you like watching Doraemon. Do you like watching the cartoon Doraemon, or do you like watching the cartoons like Tom and Jerry? So do you think they are real or they are fictitious? If they are real, type R, and if they are fictitious, write S. Quickly. Yes, they are fictitious, isn't it, dear? Yes, they are hypothetical. They are all imaginary, isn't it? So when these are imaginary, but still, with the help of imaginary characters, what they do? They try to clear the picture. They try to really connect the audience, whosoever is watching it. So when we talk about narratives, please remember, under the segment narrative, we should always remember the information that we are sharing could be, I'm not saying every time, it could be fact based or it could be hypothetical, that is imaginary. Whenever we are talking about narrative, narrate means to express something. When you are expressing something, it could be imaginary or it could be fictitious. There can be certain characters. Say, for example, when we are talking about all the advertisement, whatever advertisement that you are seeing, they all are narratives. The kind of composition, the kind of sentences, the kind of picture, the kind of imaginary, the kind of imaginary ideas that they are presenting, they all are fictitious, and they are again very, very important, because if we are not able to narrate, if we don't have those ideas, how are we going to work on new things? Say, for example, I don't know how many of you have seen the movie Transformer 1, or how many of you have seen Star Wars 1? If you have seen those movies, they are very, very old movies. And have you seen that AI based computer which was there in their spaceship? If you remember, they have these computers which with the help of AI and with the help of IoT, they can do different things. But we thought that they all are fictitious, isn't it? But these days, when you are watching it right now, will you call it as fictitious, or is that possible? If it is possible, write P in the chat box. I want to see how many of you understand that yes, it is possible these days to open the door even if you are not there in front of the door, isn't it? With one click, you can open the door. With one sensor, you can definitely change the world. So you should understand this. So narrative are based on facts and figures, or sometimes it could be fictitious. There can be different characters. There can be different people who are playing the different roles and different characteristics. So there again, we are talking about some storyboard. All right. Remember, all the novels, they are part of narration. All the novels, all the stories that you read, and under the segment narrative, we are going to talk. Yes, Tanya, very good. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter. So all the series of Harry Potter, they are part of narration. So similarly, when we are going to talk about the life history, the success story of three great personalities, that is Rahul Bajaj sir, Subhash Chandra sir, as well as Narayana Murthy sir. So we are going to read the compositions of three different personalities in which we are going to narrate about them. There will be some parts of description. There can be some kind of exposition, because we are trying to expose some new things, new facts and figures related to them. But in fact, they all are narration. So that's all in today's class. Remember, we have discussed about the 4 different types of composition. So if you have any doubt, I'll appreciate if you can raise your doubts. Otherwise, we are going to end up today's class. I'll be sharing the link of the attendance via email so that you all can mark your attendance. Yes, Piyush, very rightly stated, your Avengers. Yes. So Prerna, whenever we are talking about narration, narration is when you are detailing something, when you are saying some story. The story can be fact-based or the story can be fictitious. Let me help you with the help of 2 different movies. Have you seen the movie Mary Com? My question is to Prerna. Have you seen the movie Mary Com? And have you seen the movie Chak De? Have you seen Chak De, and have you seen Mary Com? Yes, MS Dhoni, the Untold Story. When you are watching such movies, they are fact-based. Whenever we are narrating any incident, whenever we are narrating any event, whenever we are sharing any information which are fact-based. For example, when I'm talking about newspaper here, do you read articles in the newspaper, Prerna? Can I get the confirmation from Prerna? Do you read articles which are published in the newspaper? If you're reading the articles, do you think all are fictitious or some are even fact-based? What is your opinion? My question is to Ms. Prerna Kumari. Beta, do you read newspaper articles? When you are reading newspaper articles, I want to know from you, do you think all are facts that are presented in the newspaper? Or sometimes do they even present fictitious information? What is your opinion? Sometimes they may present facts, and sometimes they are predicting, isn't it? When we were talking about the exit poll of Bihar, they were predictions made, and based on the predictions, people started thinking that this time we may have some different government, right? So again, it was fictitious. Could you understand? When you are narrating in the sense when you are sharing the information, uh, it see, anything that you're going to write should be logical. It cannot be illogical. If you are thinking about illogical, logical or illogical means, how do you connect even the fictitious thing in a logical way? All right. Now that is the reason, Abhishek, you must have seen here many advertisements which are illogical. People file case against them. Do you remember the advertisement of X deodorant, AXE, X deodorant? People have charged cases against them, right, dear? So you should always remember whatever you're going to present in any kind of composition, the information that you're going to share should be logically connected. Illogical way of presentation will not attract the audience. You're not going to watch it, you're not going to read it, you're not going to pay attention to anything which is illogical. But what about Tom and Jerry? I want to know from you, Abhishek Kumar Rajak. Do you watch Tom and Jerry? And if you watch Tom and Jerry, do you really enjoy watching it? Why do you enjoy watching it, dear? Because even though it's a small rat and a cat, but still you will see the rat and cat having the tussle in a very logical manner, isn't it? So logicality is something, being logical is the crux. You can say that it is the main thing, it is the main component which we cannot ignore whenever we are writing composition. Even if we are writing expository composition or descriptive composition or argumentative or narrative, in any kind of composition or whatever the kind of composition that we write, in each and every kind of composition, we need to inform people about the logical things. And that is the reason, if you remember, whenever we were talking about facts and figures connect people logically. Is this clear with everyone? So that's the end of today's class. Thank you very much for attending today's class. I am going to share the link in next 5 minutes. All right, dear.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have